Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands. So, for any companies out there that need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thanks, as always, to them for kindly sponsoring us. This is the match review panel for Leeds Rhinos versus Wigan Warriors. My name's Eddie. Joining me, as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing stats man, Statman Reese.
I'm a stat.
Freeze.
How are you?
For those that are not watching on YouTube, we should probably describe our facial expressions. We were just talking before we came on. We've both put this in a box for 2 days, haven't we? In the hope that we never have to talk about it. So I've had a really nice weekend, other than the rugby. So yeah, I'm all right. Ask me in about an hour.
I know we did. After obviously we played Saturday. After that, we were never going to review that yesterday, Sunday, as we record this. Felt we needed at least a 2-day buffer. I didn't think about it full time. I kind of switched off. Didn't think about it at all yesterday. And then, like I said to you earlier, just one or two very brief comments from fellow Leeds fans today. But it was just like, what were that? And we all just went, yeah, that's it. That's enough of that. Loads of positives said Andrew in the YouTube comments. So we were shit, and we'll see you all next week.
I mean, I've not, as Adam's put in the comments, it must be bad because Reese isn't wearing a Rhino shirt. I'm wearing a shirt of a winning side, Adam, which is
And who is that for those listening?
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The NFL started yesterday.
They must have won.
And we did, yeah. We did start the season well. So it was a good distraction. But yeah. Should we find a positive?
England won. Want to talk about that?
No.
What were it? 27-13?
Something like that.
That were a masterclass from, is it George Ford? Just to kick them all the way
proper
through.
Johnny Wilkinson-esque of just every time you get in their half, putting some points over.
I think they managed that game so well. Really do. After the Tom Curry red card. What did you think of that red card, by the way?
It was awful.
Never a red card.
It's a rugby incident.
Never a red card.
But it's sad. And Wales won as well. That was a great game, actually, for those that watched the Union last night. That was really good.
Who did they beat?
Fiji.
That was it. Anything else? Scotland lost.
Yeah.
Watch bits of that. Great result for Salford yesterday on Channel 4. Did that go to Golden Point?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Excited to see Brodie Croft play for Leeds. Are you?
Well, we'll come on to our regular weekly recruitment section later on today. Leeds Rhinos women won.
Yes. And we were supposed to have a current Leeds Rhinos superstar with us tonight. Our good friend Ewan, but he can't make it. And with him being a current Leeds player, we thought there is no substitute for a current Leeds player. Oh, shit. Shall we just go for it?
Yeah, we've got to do it because there's people waiting for us and you've wasted 5 minutes.
Is that all we've done? I'm hoping that were at least 8. Just a profanity usual expletive warning for anyone that doesn't want to hear the odd swear word or children listening. I can only assume I'm going to swear at least twice on this review, so I do apologise now. I'll try not to, but sometimes it gets the better of me. This is the match review panel for Leeds versus Wigan. Reese, any positives from that?
The weather were nice.
The weather was amazing.
The women won. I actually took my 6-year-old niece to the first time for her first time game. Luckily, she had no idea what was going on, so she hopefully won't remember it.
And if she did, she'll just blank it out.
Yeah.
What you'll have to do, though, if she does get the bug and wants to go to future games, years to come, if she doesn't remember it, and she says, "What was my first game, Uncle Reese?" You can say, "Don't you remember? We beat Wigan 100-0."
Yeah, exactly.
How could you forget? We beat Wigan 100-0. Is there anywhere you want to start?
Team selection, I think, for me.
I think a good place, Morgan Gannon. Let's go there.
Well, he didn't play in the half, did he?
No, he didn't.
Really? So I felt like
Named at
Rowan
6,
just
which
did
gave you
that.
a
I
heart
felt like they
attack.
did that to annoy me, but pretty much to put Gannon at 6 on the team sheet. But he didn't play there, did he? He ended up playing at centre for most of the time, with Reese in the halves. But other than that, I don't think there's really much he could have done with the lineup with the players that we had available.
Corey Johnson, maybe.
I think it's just too inexperienced to have Corey and Sinfield in the halves together.
Yeah.
I'm
clutching at straws.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 10, 15 minutes, we were slightly in it. We defended on our line ever so well. Oh, sorry, for a little bit. And then quite quickly opened up.
I've got you, Reese. You're there. Carry on.
Yes, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
It quite quickly just opened up. And then once the first try went over, that was it, it seemed.
Did you expect anything, Reese, from when you saw the team sheet? Did you expect... Now, none of us, I don't think anyone listening to this, any Leeds fan on the planet, expected to get battered 50-0. But did you, Reese, expect something that wasn't that from that team sheet?
I expected something. I expected a bit more heart. I expected at least a point or a try. I certainly didn't think that the similar side that we played against Hull last week, I don't think that side was, should be conceding 50 points and not scoring anything. But yeah, I don't think any of us could have expected that result to come in, but I was expecting something, certainly expecting something more.
Oh, God. Lucky us. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. I've deleted it from my memory. I think with the squad that we had, with the team that we had out, I generally don't think a coach on the planet could have done more than what they may have got more in terms of we'd have lost with that side with any coach on the planet, if you ask me, because we're missing so many players and not many through injury. They've just decided they don't want to be here. They've already left or they are leaving, which to me is the worst concoction any coach can deal with. If it's an injury, you're going to get that player back, well, no matter how long that is. If someone doesn't want to be here, or if someone is leaving and doesn't want to be here, or someone that's left, it's completely out of the coach's hand. Do you think another coach could have squeezed a bit more out of that? Do you think it's a coaching issue from Saturday, Reese?
I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because I think you've got to give credit to Wigan in that they
do we have to?
Yeah, no, I think you do, because I think Wigan were great. They were everything that we weren't in that side. They were well drilled, well structured, well organised. In attack, it put the fear in God and me. I think even if we'd had our best side available to us, I think we would have still lost on Saturday. But I can't think of many other. I don't think it's any other coach would get out of it. I don't know. It just seemed when it all spiraled wrong for me when Harry Newman shushing the crowd after 10 minutes. With that try that got disallowed and the petulance that followed from him. And there's a couple of people I talk about Newman, and he's certainly on our list to go through. But since then, it just went downhill. And I don't think a coach can change stuff on the pitch. Sometimes on the pitch, I think the leadership on the pitch needs to grab hold of situations like that and not let it spiral. But it spiraled out of control quite drastically.
Do you think that's where we lacked a captain?
I thought we had one on the pitch, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe not enough leadership.
I felt this game was the end of the line. I think
For
for us for the year, I think we're done. I know they've broken me.
Jesus, it must be bad if you've a bit defeat finally.
They've finally broken me. I just felt every other game this year, like we've reviewed on this podcast, we've kind of said, all right, we lost, but it was close. There was so many points in it. But this was the end of the line. This was the year. This one. This is like, no, we've come as far as we can go, and we aren't going any further. The train has fallen off the tracks. It's come to the station. It's end destination, and it's finished. And I felt, although the squad was as good as it could get, I felt that's how they played. I felt there were times where I thought, now we're finished here now. I've not felt that. I don't think I've ever felt that for Leeds. Maybe 2019, 2016, one of those years where they were just diabolical. But that man, Harry Newman, has been spoken about. Now, when Daryl Alford shushed the Cass fans a couple of weeks back, a month back, whenever, we came on this platform, me, you, and was it Duncan or Laurie? Whether
it was after the Magic Weekend, wasn't it?
May have been. We gave Daryl pelters. We did. We said, God knows why you've done that. Making a rod for your own back. So when our Wonder Boy does it, surely he deserves the same treatment.
Yeah, and do you know what? It doesn't surprise me.
Hmm?
The attitude on display didn't surprise me at all. And it was pure petulance, I thought, from Newman.
Not for the first time this year.
Not for the first time year. And yeah, there's good things about winding up the crowd. He deserved everything he got from that Wigan crowd. When they're shouting at him, Newman, what's the score?
Yeah.
To be honest, I was a little bit inside of me was actually quite enjoying that because
I thought you were going to say you were joining in.
I wasn't far off. He was just, but the bit annoyed me straight after that was, your bug bit. It was clearly all the angles didn't look conclusive. Then there was the one angle it clearly showed it came off Jackson Field's hand, and then he's there shouting at the referee and having to be pushed away by a Leeds player to stop doing it. And we have said decision's a decision. You don't shout at a referee. You don't have a go at them on the pitch. Don't talk back. And he was doing that after that. There's rumours that after the booing at half time that he told the South Stand to F off. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that was on Twitter. I didn't see that. But I think Harry Newman is probably one of the most talented rugby league players that we could potentially see at this club, and that is one of the best players in the league. But it's almost like he knows it, and that he feels like he's too good enough. He's too good for Leeds. But that attitude for me doesn't deserve a place at Leeds Rhinos. I wouldn't want to lose a man of his talent and his skill, but at the moment, I think his manner on the pitch needs to be addressed.
I'm completely fed up with him, with his attitude. The petulance, the way he talks to referees. I just think, and you're right, all the memes and everything, obviously there's a line, all the memes about saying what's the score and stuff on X and social media. That was his karma, and I hope he takes his medicine and learns from it. He doesn't seem the type, if I'm being brutally honest.
I mean, the Wigan players went for him as well after that in the second half. Every time he carried it in, he had 4 or 5 people on him.
But this is not the first time we've spoken on this platform about Harry Newman's petulance and the way he carries himself on the field. Now, I think it was Duncan who said to me at the Huddersfield game about, and we always go back to that golden generation, but Duncan said, there's no way on God's green earth you have Harry Newman behaving like that if Kev, Danny, Rob, JP, Carl are on the field.
Jamie Peacock would have grabbed him by the shirt.
Which rings exactly, or Duncan said something to that effect. And I mean, why doesn't that happen now? Surely there's players in there, Harry's teammates, saying to him, this has to stop. Surely there's Rowan, Chev.
Well, it's the coach's responsibility for me. First and foremost, it's Harry's responsibility. he carries himself on the pitch. But secondly, it's Rowan to be that mentor, to be that leader. There's Chev Walker in the coaching staff as well, who played his position, someone that was incredibly mature, and is probably a very good role model for Harry. He was a phenomenal player. They're the people that should be working with Harry and having those conversations. And I think was it early on in the year, Sean Wayne was saying that he wouldn't pick Harry Newman because of his attitude. And, I kind of I didn't like that comment at the time, but it's ringing true even more so now. I don't know why. At the moment, I'm not really sure I want him in a Leeds team if he's going to act in the way that he does. But I think first and foremost, it stops at Harry. He has to improve his own character. But it is also down to the coaching staff. And as well, you mentioned the leaders on the pitch. The likes of Cam, Aledzki and all that lot. He's grown up with them in the squad. And I don't know. Someone's just said that Adams just said I hate to say this, but Newman slowly reminded me of Jake Connor.
Oh God.
He's better than Jake Connor.
If he retired now, he's better than Jake Connor. If the rumours are true about, was it half time, Harry said to the South Stand, shut the F up, or whatever.
Yeah, that's
if that's true, and there's evidence of that, by that I mean there's evidence of that happening, he must apologise immediately. Now, if there's no evidence of that, it may be similar to the Cam Smith last week at Hull when he went over and spoke to some Leeds fans after the game and said something about someone's flag being out of date, and because they had a Nene McDonald, and Cam said,
I don't think Harry necessarily needs to apologise, because it's going to be very hard to say if that actually happened or not.
Well, exactly. Only if there's evidence of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the club can just sweep it under the rug.
The way that Harry not makes up for it, but proves to everyone that he can control it and be that best player on the pitch as a senior player, because Harry really should be a senior player despite his age, is performing on the pitch in the right manner. Yeah. And that's the way he proves that he can be better than that.
This has been Harry Newman's toughest year at the Rhinos, when you take into consideration his injuries,
the passes
or lack of passes to Myler in the Challenge Cup, and now this episode. This is Harry's strongest year. So if he can come through this with performances, reining that anger in, reining that petulance in, he is an amazing player, and that's what I want to see.
I don't think he'll be here much longer. I just get the impression from his attitude and his character and the stuff that you see on the Facebook group. I don't think he wants to be here. And he's going into a contract year next year as well.
He is. Last year of his contract. Do you think, I felt when he grabbed Tyler Dupree's shirt and the kind of...
Oh, there was that as well. Yeah, that
went
was
face to face. I felt that had Wigan not been winning 28-0, I think it was at the time, had it been a closer game, you can come in this in a minute, I think that would have been a penalty to Wigan.
It should have been overturned.
I agree. When he did it, I was saying...
Dupree didn't really do it, from what I saw. And you were lucky that they could see that it was just his action of moving his arm forward that made his head jolt back. Yeah. But to be honest, the referee got it wrong. He should have reversed the decision, because there was no need for Newman to do that.
No, I agree.
And that was just another sign of the petulant character that we've just been describing. That could have ruined, I know we weren't going to win from that point, were we? But, it ruined, in any other game, that could have ruined an opportunity to go forward and put some points on the board.
Do you have any stats for us?
I do, unfortunately. We missed 46 tackles, so that's where we're going to start.
46, that's a season high.
Yeah. The other one actually is a bit of a positive, to be honest. And it's Fussy again. I thought Fussy carried really, really well despite everything. I think he's at fault for at least one of the tries, I think, because I think him and Martin both went for the ball when Liam Farrell knocked it through. But he made 144 metres, did Fussy. Ash made 135. Aledzki made 94 off 11 carries. It was actually one of the better games from Aledzki.
Yeah.
And then tackles wise, I'm just looking quickly. Where's Jared? Cameron won it at 42. Jared was third, in fact, because Mikolaj Aledzki had 38. Jared
Wow.
O'Connor had 35, and James McDonnell actually made 44. So he actually made the most tackles on the day. The missed tackle list is quite a hard read, so bear with me as I go through this list because nearly everyone missed a tackle. Reece Martin missed 5, Jared O'Connor missed 5, McDonnell missed 5, Sam Walters missed 4, Donaldson missed 4, Cameron Smith missed 4, Corey Johnson missed 3, Luke Hooley missed 3, Sinfield missed 2, and Ledsky missed 2. So yeah, lots of missed tackles on the day.
46.
Yeah,
I'll be amazed if we get anywhere near that. For that's going to be a record for a while. Would you agree with that?
I need to have a look really, but it's high. It will be the worst for us this year. It's not the worst in Super League, surprisingly, this year. But it's the worst for us.
Against us.
Maybe. Yeah, it did feel a bit like that. I felt like it was that's how that feels sort of game.
It was a strange game because, like I say, apart from Warrington, first game of the year, every other game we've played in has been closer than that.
Yeah.
The fact Wigan completely battered us.
It never felt like we were in it, really. We never really put any structure in attack to really put any danger in attack. We were getting, what really impressed me about Wigan was every set they were finishing down in our 10-metre line. Every kick was going down there. It was an immaculate kicking display. So we were just played off the park. And Reece Martin got bullied in the air, catching him twice, unfortunately.
He did.
Gannon missed a horrendous tackle on the southwest side at one point. It just wasn't a good day for anyone.
Anything else?
What do you make of what Rowan said? Because I think Rowan said, one of the comments that came out was that he was happy with how we handled Field and French, which is all well and good, but we still conceded 50 points regardless of that.
I think Rowan kind of does what we do in that he tries to find a positive, no matter how small it is. I genuinely think he does that. I don't know what game he's watching if he thinks we nullified French or Field, even remote. I can't think of one instance at all where we nullified those two. Well, the two awesome players. Like we said previously, apart from the Wakefield game, his press conferences, are the same.
Yeah, and look, I don't think we're going to see anything different. And I've said probably 3 or 4 times now that I'd rather him come out and just say that was fucking shit, because it was embarrassing, really, really embarrassing,
deplorable, yeah.
And it just that lack of accountability for what was dreadful. If they were thinking of doing any season ticket renewal announcements this week, I think they've probably delayed that.
I think there'll be another signing before the
signing. I enjoyed I think I can't remember who it was. Was it John Winter or someone saying, "Oh, here comes the 50% discount for conceding 50 points." But yeah, there's not really much more to say, is there, other than just that it was an embarrassing afternoon for the club.
First one for a while. I think Rowan does that thing of protects his squad and just says the same cliches just to get through the press conference because he has to say something.
And there's a lot of young players in there.
Same thing, yeah.
A game like that, it's almost a bit unfair for Sinfield and Gannon, because naturally they'd get a bit of heat for being named at 6 and 7. But what much do you really expect an 18-year-old young player and a guy that's really a second row? I mean, we've got to stop fanning about with this, putting him at 6.
He didn't know his ass from his elbow, does he?
Gannon looks a ghost of the player that he used to be in the beginning and last year. There's not a lot of confidence in him. I think he just needs to stop it now. Gannon is a phenomenal young talent, and I just feel like all the confidence has been sucked out from him. But naturally, those young players are going to take a bit of heat from that game. And I think, like you say, he might be protecting them. which you should do, but you should be taking the hit on his shoulders as well, because he's probably getting more heat than anyone again right now.
Yeah, I mean, when Gannon comes in as a second row at 18, 17, however bloody old he was, hits the ground running as a wonder kid, and everyone's saying, "Yeah, wow, this is it." Play him there, keep him there, nurture him, let him play his game, let him learn his craft. I mean, I know he didn't have the squad to do anything else, but we're kind of talking in future now rather than,
Yeah, I mean, he ended up playing centre, and he never really played centre when he was young. I don't remember him playing much at centre. But yeah, just he needs to get his confidence back, and he doesn't get any easier, does it, for Rowan after that?
No. Anything else?
We're not doing man of the match.
Man of the match.
To do that. I'm refusing
Fussy Tour.
Yeah, go on. Well, fine.
Fussy Tour, 144 meters.
I thought he carried well.
Have you ever done? 27 minutes.
Actually, it's 22 because we did 5 minutes at the start.
5 minutes on England, Argentina. Fussy Tour. Congratulations, you are the man of the match. Speaking of David Fussy Tour, he did sign a new deal. A 1-year deal, which got announced in the strangest way ever.
Is it even an article on? Yeah,
I don't. It was. They were both. We'll come on to Bentley, but they were both announced on Rowe's pre-match presser, which is so.
You think that's a mistake?
Weird in itself. That's exactly what I'm going to say. Part of me thinks the club have all got it sorted, and Rowan's gone into that presser thinking, "All right, I can announce this," because maybe you can have a quick look, but I don't think there's anything on the Rhinos.
I'm just looking at the website now just to see. Or maybe they weren't quite close to getting the deals over, and Rowan just went, if I announce them, then they'll have to make them happen.
They'll have to sign. Because it's factual.
I'm just going to look now. The only problem is I get to see the result again for the Wigan. I don't really want to look at that.
I don't want to look at
I don't think it says. Hang on, let me keep going down.
There were nothing there earlier.
No, there's still no article on the fact that we've re-signed them. So it was a very... Oh, no, there is. On the 7th of September, there is an article, actually. But yeah, it was very strange because it got announced in the presser, which is very unusual because normally there's a 6... I missed the 6 a.m. announcements, actually. But, normally announcement. But no, I'm pleased for Fussy. I know we've debated with Fussy because of injury record, but when he's on the pitch, he's one of the best players, again, proven on Saturday, despite
man of the match.
He was the best one on the pitch. It was a low bar, but he was the best one on the pitch. And if he's fit, he's an absolute asset. And I think a 1-year deal is worth doing. I just hope we can keep him fit.
I agree. I think a 1-year deal, we kind of tossed and turned over it for a while on the podcast about whether he's worth a new deal or not. When he plays, without a doubt, it's just getting him to play. So I think the 1-year deal is a smart option for both Dave and us, really. Get him on the field. He'll be fine. Hopefully, next year we see more of him. See how good he can become. He might even play against England, you'd think, if he's fit. England-Tonga.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I know you've joked about him getting 25 tries of the season, but I think if he's fit and plays nearly every game, bar 2 or 3, he can be a 15-20 try winger. I think he can.
I hope so. Just so I'm right for once.
Yeah, just so you're right for once. But, with the other signing we made, we're going to talk about, he's really strong in the air, and I don't think we make the use of that. But I think he's an absolute asset to the squad when he's fit. So hopefully we get to see more of that next year.
The other signing that Rowan announced, jumping the gun in his pre-Wigan press conference, was James Bentley. Now, it's a 2-year deal for James Bentley. Fussy Tour got a 1-year deal, and Bentley's got a 2-year deal. Now, what I found most interesting about this was Rowan said something along the lines of, James has worked on himself on the field and off the field. Rowan said he's done a lot of work off the field as well. Do you think there was perhaps something there that was kind of delaying this deal potentially, Reese? Off the field, maybe? I did find it a bit weird how Rowan went out of his way to mention his off the field stuff.
I'd be interested to see what he meant by that.
Mm.
But obviously, we know Bentley on the pitch that sometimes, especially the first half of his first season with us, he wasn't on the pitch because he was getting banned left, right, and centre. And then we saw probably the best version of James Bentley the second half of last year. This year, we've seen somewhere in the middle. He stayed on the pitch. He hasn't really been banned. He's had a couple of injuries, but he hasn't lit the world alight at second row. He definitely had offers because there was that. He went to Castellan, didn't he?
I was adamant they were going to leave.
And a mysterious holiday. He just happened to be there, but apparently that's where his agent is based.
His
apparently.
agent is, yeah.
But I'm actually quite pleased about keeping Bentley. He's a Leeds lad. If we can see that second half of last season of Bentley, then he's a brilliant player, and I think he gives us real depth at second row. I know people have been saying Gudeman's more of a prop or loose maybe, but he's playing he's a second row really. But with him, so with Gudeman, Bentley, Martin, Gannon, and McDonnell, it's incredibly hard to pick two players from that to start week in, week out. But it gives us that depth and maybe gives us that versatility. So I'm quite happy with Bentley staying as well.
I am. I think I am. I always I think we all do when Leeds players play for Leeds, when local Leeds lads play for us. James is one of them. And we keep harping on back to his form last year, the back end of last year, he was awesome. Leading up to the World Cup, he was probably the informed back rower in the whole competition in the playoffs, right up to the grand final. So I do wish him well. But
it just gives us a bit more of consistency and longevity as well.
Yeah.
There's a John Wells article, Matt Shaw's an article about what John Wells said about our recruitment. And he said it's just too many people are coming and going. And I think it's a really good point. So actually keeping people and keeping a core side, I think is quite important. I know we've got a lot of people off contract, but I think keeping a bit of a core side is important. And having players like Bentley, like you say, that's local, knows the club, and his experience, I think are quite important people to keep around.
Agreed. There's too many players walking out the door or leaving and not enough coming in. But we'll come to that. Well, we have signed a player and we've signed a halfback. We should have had an applause or something there. Hooray! Hooray! We signed a halfback. Is he any good? No, he's shite. But anyway, we've signed a halfback. Matt Frawley has signed. People will know him from his brief stint at Huddersfield in 2018. 28-year-old halfback, plays for Canberra Raiders. He has signed for the Rhinos on a 2-year deal. What were your initial thoughts when you heard this news, Reese?
My initial thoughts were, I think a lot of people were jumping on the bandwagon a bit, potentially, on thinking it was a negative signing. There was a lot of talk, obviously, on Twitter prior to that, saying we shouldn't be signing him X, Y, and Z. But if it was 2019 we were signing him for, I think I'd probably in the same camp because it wasn't a great season at the Giants. But he was 24. It was 4 years ago. He's been playing in the NRL since. He's been in the New South Wales Cup. He was in Canberra's playoff side at the weekend. He's obviously, hopefully, developed as a player since that Huddersfield. So don't just think about it on Huddersfield. So I'm happy we've just signed a halfback. Is it the world beater that I want? Probably not. But he deserves the chance as much as anyone does that signs for Blue and Amber. And I've watched him for the first time at the weekend as well. And I think the key part of this signing is a running six. Because you could see his kicking ability. His kicks, were, from what I saw, were quite good. Every set he was finishing on, the kicks were finishing on the try line or near enough and great height. So I thought his kicks are brilliant, which is what the Canberra Raiders page that I asked about said. He said he's got a very good kicking game. His experience is calm, but he's best as a secondary playmaker. So I think this signing working will be dependent on a world-class running six or a very good running six being next to him.
Let's hope we get one. I felt, because the second someone's announced as a signing in any team sport, no matter what it is, as soon as a new player signs a deal, you look at it and say, right, who is this? Who, what, where, why, when, etc. So as soon as it popped up Matt Frawley, I was like, wow, that is a diabolical signing. It's not good enough initially. And when new signings are made, you make that judgment immediately. Now, on the face of it, I think Frawley looks an awful signing. Make no mistake about it. Having said that, we signed Aidan Caesar, who, the majority of us all felt was a really good signing, you know, in the running for the Man of Steel or Dream Team in his time at Huddersfield when he signed for us, played in the Combine, All-Stars, Nations All-Stars thing, played well for them, decent money. He comes to Leeds and he's absolutely shite. Make no mistake about it. Shite. So, and Zayn Tetevano, I've said this loads of times, Zayn Tetevano ticked every single box in terms of a signing from the NRL. International, tick. NRL winner, tick. 100 caps, tick. Marquee man, absolutely. Absolutely. So sometimes you look at signings like Tetevano and you go, wow, that is a signal of intent. That is a marquee signing. Unfortunately, he turns out to be the worst signing in Super League history. So although I've just said Frawley initially looks an awful signing, he could turn out to be something amazing.
I think he will be. I'm hoping he'll be good. I've got to hope.
I think we all are.
You know, I hope to be great, but I do think part of
Please,
it,
Matt, please.
It needs to be who he's partnered with. And I've seen a comment in the chat from Ollie saying, can't wait for Myler and Frawley in the halves next year. If it's Myler, that's not the running six that I'm on about. You know, we have to go out. And the problem is, I just don't know where that running six is coming from because we've now exhausted the rumour mill of halfbacks. You know, Matt Frawley was the last
Matt Frawley was the last one.
He
was the only one we haven't spoke about on this podcast.
So, yeah, it's where we go from here. But I think, you know, at least, I suppose it's better having one than having none. But I seriously hope that he'll be what they think he is. But I think it is really dependent on who he's playing with.
We need another. That's the issue. We need to find another now. Another one that's...
I mean, after Saturday, we could do another 13. 13
well, you think about... We'll move on now to recruitment for 2024 again. Our favourite topic. And you kind of look at players who have left or are leaving. Walters, Austin, Tetevano, Leeming, Caesar, Tyndall, and Nene McDonald. Because no one knows what's going to happen yet with Nene. We're a week on from our last podcast and nothing's changed. So the signing of Miller and Frawley, I know we've signed Gudemond as well. Miller and Frawley take away 2 quarter spots. So we've still got 2 overseas quarter spots to play with and potentially 3 marquee spots kind of involved and ingrained in those. This is the biggest off-season in the club's history now.
I think so.
It is. You know, you take into consideration the facilities, the players who are walking out the club. We've not been in the top 4 for 6 years since 2017, and it's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. And they have to get this right. Whether it costs money, they have to get it right. And I know that's so easy for me to sit here and say, but they must get this right because come 6-7 games into the 2024 season, if it isn't right and it isn't working, heads will roll. Make no mistake. Heads will roll. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no. I think if we're not in the top six, top four, well, if we're not in the top six by May next year, I certainly think Rowan could be gone. But I also think the fingers will be pointing elsewhere as well. Because again, I'm going to reference another Matt Straw article, but he was saying something about transition is a buzzword at Leeds that is mentioned far too often. We've never really started or finished it or progressed with it, other than the blip in 2017. So it's this summer, sorry, wrong sport. This winter is their biggest opportunity, but also their biggest threat.
I mean, for a club, first of all, there's only 3 elite clubs in Super League, and we're one of them. There's Leeds Rhinos, there's St Helens, and there's Wigan Warriors. Those are the 3 elite sides in this competition. Under that, Wire, Catalans, the rest, if I'm being brutally honest, they are dross. They are complete dross. From those 5 teams, if the rest of the league got cut away and we try anyway, that's another argument. So for me, there's 3 elite sides in this league. And the fact that we've missed out on the playoffs is absolutely unforgivable. I do not know how Leeds Rhinos not making the playoffs. It's just unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. And the fact that we're here now, out the playoffs, no top 4 finish for 6 years, George. 6 fucking years. When there's 3 elite sides. We had an amazing run to the grand final last year. We all know. And even this year, there's been games where we had a million miles away. You know, we had awful, diabolical losses to Cass and Wakefield, and Lee beat us home and away. Lee have had a great year, holding my hands up. And, you know, we aren't that far away. But this off-season, cover your ears, George, fucking petrifies me.
I agree with you because
McDonald leaves. I don't know what we're going to do.
I'm a bit like you. I am worried because like I say, it's the biggest opportunity, the biggest threat, but it feels like we're too late to the party, especially when you look at what Wigan have done in terms of how quickly ahead they've got of their recruitment.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned the money. You know, if
yeah.
it costs money,
it's going to have to,
do your best to get it right.
But we do have those elite facilities. We do have those elite, you know, facilities, the ground, the name, everything that should help us stand above the rest. But you've also got our performances this year. You're having to sell a project and not a win now. And if you've got about the right, I know Brenko Lee was a name that was mentioned, and that sounded like a very good potential signing, but that's been apparently told that it's not happening. But the thing that takes me a little bit of confidence was, you know, there was that little rumor that came out about Lasone leaving, but quickly he said, no, I'm staying. So there's people, there's such a good the reason why it's such opportunities because you've got such a good core of young players. You know, your likes of Aledzki, you know, Newman if he gets his attitude right, Hanley, Holroyd, O'Connor, you know, Bentley's only 20. I think he's 25. You know, Gannon. There's a load of players there that are 25. Cameron Smith, 25 and under, that you just put the right experience in, and that side is a top 4 side easy. But it's just got to be the right people who can really steer that opportunity forward. But they've got to be getting done now.
Yeah, there's no more transition now. I think we said, was it the start of this year? When we were doing the preview, where we said, do we feel this is the end of the transition? This is the squad.
It feels as though we're starting again.
Well, we have to. The amount of players that are walking out the door, we're starting again. And we can't continue to do this.
This version 5 now.
Yeah, it's unsustainable for any club, for any coach, for fans. We can't continue to do this. And if it's going to cost loads of money, they have to put it right. It's so vital that they get this right. And it's starting to petrify me. More so, I'll repeat myself again. If Nene McDonald leaves this club, there's too much to do. Way too much to do. And then you start to look at it as if to say, so if they don't get the recruitment right in that we can't find the players or they don't sign the right players, and then we're 6-7 games in and Rowan's head rolls on someone else gets sacked. You're like, well, where do we go from here?
Start again, version 6.
We're starting again and again. Now, I'm not saying Rowan should stay if it's 6, 7, 8, 9 games in or whatever. Look, the proof will be in the pudding. We've kind of said all along from the moment Rowan came in the door, he needs time. He needs time to mould this squad.
He needs time, but equally we weren't expecting to be in a position where we were now.
Like this, with players walking out. So let's call it right. It would be 3 players that walked out this year. 3 first-team players. Austin Leeming, McDonald. That's an abnormality. That never happens anywhere.
When it happened to Leeming, I was like, yeah, no one's bigger than the club. Then Austin started doing it.
Agreed,
no one's bigger than the club. But there's a little bit in the back of my head when, is there something not right here? And then anything going, the thing in the back of head's come to the forefront now saying, something's not right.
Yeah.
Something just that for 3 players to leave in the circumstances that they are leaving, something isn't right. Let us know what you think that is later on.
They have to get it right. I don't know if people in our YouTube comments feel the same about recruitment for next year and the amount we have to do. I mean, you look at this squad we have now, or the squad we had out on Saturday. There weren't many people missing. That's the worry. It's just these people have just walked out. I mean, this off-season now is worse than 96 in terms of we need players, we need quality. And it's just pure neglect that we haven't been in the top 4 for 6 years. How is that possible?
You say that you look at the side that was out. If you look at the jersey numbers that were out on Saturday, it was 1, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Of what
the rest have walked out.
What they all pictured, what their first 13 was going to be in the beginning of the season. So more than half of that wasn't available. We go into next week where Walter's not available.
What is he banned? He's injured.
He's got a ban.
Oh, Christ.
Obviously, Cam Smith passed his HIA apparently. So, yeah.
2024 is one of the first things Rowan has to do, Reese, appoint Cammy as captain.
I
think that's a good start.
in this the world that the recruitment is done, then yeah. Names Cammy as captain, names him as leader. But after that, it's win games. It sounds daft. I know it sounds daft because that's the whole aim of the bloody sport. But he needs to come out and win in the first couple of games, 3 games. He needs the performances. But yeah, it might start with Cammy being the leader. But I don't think I can't even think about that until I've seen what's the done with recruitment. Because like you said, biggest opportunity, biggest threat, but I'm quite scared about what that side could look like in February next year.
I am. I'm absolutely petrified of how that can happen because I don't know if the club have ambitions to spend transfer money. I think that's the market we're in now. Now, I know there's lots to happen over in the NRL in their off-season, and perhaps Valentine's Holmes will be available, and in which case we'll take him in a heartbeat, and he can play full back or centre or half back. We'll have him. Well, he can play prop if he wants. We'll sign him up. But I think we're at a point now where I'd weaken the sides of those dross sides that I mentioned. I'd try to weaken those, So for me, go get Brodie Croft. And if, because people say, well, the threat there is it's the old Jackson Hastings thing where there's always the NRL in the background for them, like Jake Clifford at Hull. Listen, no matter who or what a player is, if the NRL come, they're going to go. Whether that's Brodie Croft, Harry Newman, Cruz Leeming. If the offer's there, they are going to leave. Every Super League club. That's nothing exclusive to Leeds. If an NRL club comes, that player is going to leave because the money out there is astronomical. And if we were to go out and sign Brodie Croft and it got us to a grand final win, and then he runs off to the NRL, and it's cost us 300 grand. Is that not worth it?
It is, because we've won it. But then for me, it's also what comes after, because I want the longevity.
But then every time a side has won Super League, they tend to get 2 or 3 over the coming 5 years. Bradford did it, Wigan did it, we did it, Saints are doing it. I think winning breeds winners. And if we were to bring Croft in, win as the grand final, he goes off to the NRL. We're now the champions. That, in terms of recruitment, everyone looks at us to say, oh, yeah, I want to play for Leeds in that amazing stadium. They're the champions again. But at the moment, we're rock bottom. This is rock bottom for the Rhinos, missing out on the playoffs to me. But then again, on the flip side of that, in terms of recruitment, maybe a player coming in would think, right, the only way he's up here.
Yeah, you've got an opportunity to leave your mark.
Come in and changes.
I think it's important for the club to get it right for their own commercial revenue. Because, yes, attendances have been up. I know it's got back to pre-19. But if that side is a top 4 side and competing week out and is challenging for the grand final year in, year out, Headingley becomes a 16,000 average attendance, 17,000. You'll get more out of it. So it's, it is a business at the end of the day. They've got, if they feel like they need to spend the money, but the money comes back in ticket sales. And I don't know why you do. I'd still renew it. Of course, I'm always going to renew it.
We're still
stupid. But even if they'd released it after, an hour after full time on Saturday, I'd have bought it. But yeah, we could
have like an automatic renewal, couldn't there, for some of us?
I'm looking forward to the season being over. To be honest,
it's over now. They've broken me.
No, we've got 2 more games. I just want it to be done.
They've broken me. I'm sure Laurie will come on and host it with you.
I'll be in America, mate. So.
Yeah. This is the last podcast of the season. We're taking our toys home.
Yeah. Dear.
It's so vital, Leeds, and we can't mess it up. There's no more transition now. It's time. We've got to get it right. Someone in the comments has said, it's Josh Biggs says, Brodie Croft and Mike Lewis would be my halfback marquee signings. There you go. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, we can dream, but I just don't believe it until I see it.
Anything else? Catalans. Oh God. No.
We've got to preview. We've got a game this weekend against another top 3 side.
Do you know what it is as well? There's some poor bastards. They're going out to watch this game.
There's quite a few in there.
There's been people planning this trip for. Do you know what? You'll have an amazing trip. You'll love it.
Just get really drunk before the game, so you can't remember it.
This would be so Leeds to win this now. It would be so Leeds Rhinos to win by 2 points or something. Oh, any squad changes, Reese, for this one?
Well, Walters is out. I don't know if Bentley will be back. I don't know.
Bentley should be back.
I just think that I'm not looking forward to it. I think it could be another difficult day. And Catalan are vying for the League Leaders Shield. And other than our crap season, Super League has actually been really entertaining.
Yeah,
we've got 3 teams going for the League Leaders Shield, all on form at the right point in the year. I think it's brilliant, but unfortunately, we're going to be the victim of that on this weekend.
I think Bentley will come in. Maybe he can play half-back.
Paul's saying Bentley's out. Paul and Andrew are saying Bentley are out for the season.
Bentley's out for the season.
This is how much we've not paid attention to these Rhinos in the last couple of days.
Well, Bentley's out.
Refused to. So, I think it's going to be a very, very long afternoon.
I think we'll have to have Corey at half-back. Corey at half-back with Jack. Reese back at centre.
I don't think you could do that.
Sangare, is he back yet? Sangare?
I can't see. I don't think you should be putting Corey and Sinfield in against Catalan.
Don't you?
In that atmosphere, in a grubby side who will always come try beat you up front, I just think they'd get mauled. I think you've got to leave Reece in there, unfortunately. You need something
Reece,
senior.
Yeah.
You need someone senior experienced in there.
Cammy? Keep him at loose?
I wouldn't mind him at half.
Sangria won't be back, says Andrew again. Andrew's just giving us injury news in the YouTube chat. Thanks, Andy.
I think I'd rather have Cam there in half-back, if you're honest, because we'll need a bit of meat in the bone in the middle.
Dare I ask a prediction?
I'm going to say 48-6 to Catalan.
Wow. 48-6.
Well, I think my theory on this is I think the worst possible situation, and it can only be better.
What would that be? 98 points in 2 games.
Yeah.
98 points conceded, 6 scored.
Yeah.
This podcast has been more depressive than the Wakey result. Do you think?
Yeah. So sorry if I know it is the mood. I don't know if people feel the same, but it is.
I bet everyone listening to this feels as disheartened as us.
Yeah.
I bet they do. Sorry, it wasn't more upbeat. We gave it 2 days. We couldn't wait any longer. Ewan may have added some positivity or a change. I tell you what, I'll finish in true Lot Pod style. I'm going to say Leeds are going to win. By, I don't know, really close. Like I said earlier, I'm going to say Leeds by 2. Leeds by 2 points, and we can review a win next week and have a smile on our faces. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Reece. Thanks to everybody. Oh, by the way, I got tons of messages and emails about the Gary Mercer special. He was very, very funny. It's available to watch on our YouTube channel. It's available to listen back to. Jump back into that. Gary is a very funny man, and he'll make you smile. Do follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Hit that notification bell. You will be notified every time we stream these podcasts live. Please do feel free to engage with us on the live chat on YouTube as well. We'll be back. Oh, thanks, Reece, by the way. I hope you feel better after this.
Why? What's happened now?
I'm just saying thank you for appearing.
Oh, right. I was like, what's happened now?
Forgotten. So I've only been doing it 2 years.
Yeah. No,
He's just
yeah.
gone down.
You.
He's gone, just staring off into the distance.
And
I
we'll be upbeat again at some point.
Yeah, I think we'll just have loads of Red Bull for the Catalan results and perk us up. Right, thank you, everybody. We will get through it together. We are Leeds until the world stops going round. We'll see you for the Catalan review. Take care.